All right, here we go. No time like the present. So my name is Brian Gaines. I am 32 years old. I recently, I don't know about recently. I guess I'm in the middle of a transformation of myself. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter named Lorelai. I have a 7th month son named Luther. I have a beautiful, amazing wife named Carol, and I, ever since Luther was born about 7 months ago, I've had I've been on a journey, and I've been just thinking about living my life differently. And honestly, my family has been giving me the courage to do that because I feel their love and I feel purpose having kids, and I hate to say it, honestly, it was Luther's birth about 7 months ago today. This is why I'm starting this today, 7 months ago today. And it took me a lot of therapy to realize what's happening, but I'm in the middle of learning it too. But what is happening to me right now is uh, I'm starting to think more about my kids and their future and how to help them be good humans that are happy and productive and, just try to give them the best life possible. And I hope a lot of people can relate to that. That's kind of what our goal is. When we have kids, I never, it took me a long time to realize what love was until I had kids. And then it's just like pouring out of you. It's insane. You never felt something quite like it. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is for the next year, minimally, I'm going to be posting every single day about 20 or 30 minutes of my time. I'm going to be sharing insights of what's going on with me. I'm going to be on a journey of building two different companies while I do this, while also working full time and being the best dad I can possibly be with my two kids and the best husband I could possibly be. I'm challenging myself starting June. I mean, I've already started, I guess, but starting today, I'm challenging myself to become a different person, grow. And it's not that I don't like myself. It's not that it's, if anything, I'm trying to take the person I like, which is the person I've built, which is me, and help people with that person rather than hide that person away and not do as much as I can. And I'm hoping to get out of this journey to I don't want to not have experience to help my kids with their problems. And I don't I need to fail and I need to struggle to help them when they're failing and struggling. And with a 2-year old and a 7 month old, um, looking you in the eyes, and they just are so excited and ready for the world, and I just want to be that perfect person to help them. And I won't be, that's the whole point of parenting, is you're not going to they're going to want what you aren't. um, but I feel like if I've learned this, grit, determination, the discipline is what gets you anywhere in life. It's what separates people that are successful from not. I think that's number one. And so, with that assumption, if my kids need grit to be happy effectively, to achieve their goals and their dreams, they need a person in their life that has grit to follow. And they're going to be looking at me a lot, and my wife has a ton of grit, which is great. Um, but I think I need to push that grit a little bit further for myself to be a person that they can look at. And if I ever want to help or can help them, I feel like they're more likely to listen to me and they're more likely to um, be understanding of the situation. So I need to do that. I need to fail. I need to struggle. I need to have grit. And ever since Luther was born 7 months ago, my eyes are open. I I have a new understanding of what the world is, and I feel like the best way to help my children and my family is to raise my hand and really put myself in uncomfortable situations so that I know how to best help them when their uncomfortable situations are coming, and how to help them. And I just feel like there's a general, like, what do you know? What do that your kid's going to say to you eventually? How do you know that? Or why would I ever listen to you? You've never done that thing or never had that problem. And so I'm going to have that problem in front of them right now, for the next year and probably longer. I'm going to commit to documenting what is going on with me for the next year. And maybe there's a season two. I don't know. We'll all get haircuts, and I'll introduce some new characters, and we'll have a real season two. So I'm starting this podcast as a way to document my real life right now, and I assume it's gonna look like total crap for a long time. I'm gonna work on it every day, and one day you're gonna find it, whoever you are, and I hope it really helps you. I'm building the framework to help me 5 years ago and help my kids hopefully 10 or 20 years from now, to show what you can do with your life if you are ready to be uncomfortable. It's scary because I'm going through it, and I'm hopefully I'm that teacher that will guide you through this when you're going through it, if you use this as a guide, which I hope you do. My personality type is, I want to be a teacher and I want to be a pioneer. And I think I have things to offer, but I also think I need to go through things to better help people. And that's part of this. So about 7 months ago, my wife had Luther, and that's when my life got too chaotic. I was managing 70 people in healthcare. I decided I had an hour and a half drive each way, commute, and it was just too much. And my wife's a doctor, and she's in the middle of residency and working 90 hours a week, and all the chaos all collided at once. So I took a little bit of a lesser job. I now am a data analyst for the same company, and I work from home, and it's been nice, and it's really opened my eyes to, like, if I stop, if I'm no longer being pulled away in every single direction, what's important to me. And I think that's part of everyone's journey, is how do we help ourselves, how do we grow? And this is my attempt to grow, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm very bad at not committing to things. I've tried a bunch of stuff and I quit after 3 weeks in pretty much every capacity of my life. And I don't want my kids to have a role model like that. I don't want them to see that person every day and think that that is okay, because I don't think it is okay. I think I need to refocus who my role models are, me, and that's what I've been doing. I've been reading books nonstop for the last 7 months. I've been learning everything I can about AI, because I know that's the future and my kids are gonna have to learn it. It's so funny. Like 2 years ago, I would have said, of course, teach your kids computer coding and programming and computers. And now it's like, majority of these podcasts are going to be about AI. I'm sure you know that, because it's going to be in the title and everything. But it's crazy. What do you teach your kids right now? What do you talk about? How do you help them? Because it's like, I feel like I need to teach my kids for an internet that doesn't exist yet. Like, I feel like this is the new internet, and they're gonna have a lot of interesting experiences, because some of the smartest people in the world are going to be automated, are going to be fake. I'm going to say something crazy here. I have a very real suspicion that my children are going to have a relationship with an artificial intelligence being and think nothing of it, and that's going to be so weird that my kids could marry an AI for all I know. And that AI might fulfill their every dream. And it's hard to think that that's normal or human, but these things are going to get more human so fast. And I hope I'm, years from now documenting that, in June 2023, we're barely having chatbots and just starting to have, AI that kind of respond intelligently as a human, like as an avatar. And, I think we're going to have it's going to be really interesting knowing what's real and fake, and there's going to be a big chaos moment, I think, not to like be doom and gloom, but I think it's going to be chaotic while we navigate what's real and fake. And then we're going to have a big hangover from it, and there's going to be a big, we all want to be real again, and we all want to see each other face to face and in person. And I think we're going to go through this big, roller coaster, like everything else, roller coaster of this. And all of this is, I guess my point is, I'm going to do my best to prepare myself to best help my children by putting myself in uncomfortable spots. And that includes learning and teaching things I don't know yet, and being uncomfortable every day, by finding out my blind spots, by working on my blind spots, by just trying new things. So one thing I'm trying, it's going to be the name of this podcast. I'm building Copilot University. Copilot University is going to educate small, medium business owners on AI tools, technology, other productivity things, everything I've ever learned from being a process engineer, performance excellence engineer for the last, 10, 12 years, as well as all of the latest AI tools and all the different widgets and gadgets and tools really the goal is to level the playing field between small mom and pop and Google and these crazy things that are just, I feel like, not letting anyone else in. I feel like AI is going to level that down a lot. I feel like there's a lot of things that are going to be open source, a lot of things that are going to be free or simple, super simple. There's coding isn't going to be that important anymore. And I think there's going to be a lot of low tech, medium tech people that can really, really do a lot with a little. And so I want to teach them how to do that. And I don't think it's that hard. I think it's just about committing yourself, like what I'm trying to do, to learning the new internet. We all got smartphones. We all got an app store. We all got internet on our phones. And we all just started walking around using apps with the internet in 2013 or 14. And then 5 years passed, and now we don't think anything of it. That's what's going to happen. Is it's going to be weird. It's going to be uncomfortable for a while. There's going to be that weird dial-up phase of everything, where it's I don't really understand what the point of this is. Great. You can. I remember I used to, when I was 14, I used to chat with this chatbot named Austin Powers on AOL and AIM, and it was what's the point of this? This thing's cool. This thing responds to me, I guess, and it's tells jokes. And I remember sending my friends this, the Austin Powers responded like this, and I'm sure somebody had to build that thing, and it took hours and hours of their time for teams of people to build that thing back then. And I feel like we're in that phase with AI right now, which is what is this for? What can I actually use with this? Obviously with ChatGPT, I will be showing you guys the millions of ways you can make your company or life better with it. First things first, if you're still using Google to search for, if you're using any search engine to search for anything, you're behind. You're using paper when the internet exists. You're writing a document by hand when a computer exists. It's just the next evolution of everything, and the more you get uncomfortable just a little bit by using that first as your first search engine, the like years ahead you'll be of everyone else. Um, I, anyways, so the other thing I was gonna say is that there's gonna be a new revolution with just hiring and everything too. Everyone's gonna be asking you about AI, how much you know about AI, how much you care about it, how much, like, what do you do, how do you use it every in your daily life. That's going to be the new thing, the same way how to use the internet, how to use a computer was for the last 20 or 30 years in every interview, every question. And I think it goes back to, if I just really want you to be on the right side of it, I just really, not that I'm not like, it's not negative, it's all positive, it's all going to be net positive for humans. But I think it's going to be scary, it's going to be scary that this new thing is defining my life, and this new thing is my child's friend. This new thing knows everything about me. It can predict me. It's uncomfortable for me too. I don't know. It's going to be weird. I don't really know how sports is going to work, because it can like predict sports better than sports, like better than a lot of stuff. It's I don't know. It's gonna be weird. Um, but what else was I gonna say? Oh, so part of this growth process. Let me get back on topic with the story. Okay, so part of this growth process for me is I am launching this company, Copilot University, and we'll be teaching small and medium-sized business owners, leaders, anybody who wants help. Really, I'm not planning on helping Google, I guess, but they're the ones that don't need my help. Pretty much anyone that needs my help is who I want to help. And really, it's just trying to give you the tools faster than you are going to acquire them yourself, because the average person is going to hear about something, try something once, and try stuff back and forth, but really they're going to wait for their friends to be doing it, and that usually takes years. And I feel like AI is moving so fast that that's not really appropriate right now. That isn't really going to help people make a change in their life. That it's going to be more chaotic and more aggressive than that in the evolution of this. And so I really want to encourage people to try it. Try making ChatGPT your homepage for your default question answerer. I think you'll learn 10 times more than you will from somebody telling you about it. I'm going to do my best to make it as simple as possible, but part of it is just changing your just small habits. And that's kind of, I want to talk about psychology and a little bit of that too. Is just tiny habits is what is going to make large changes in your life, and therefore large changes in your business and your revenue and your productivity and your happiness. It's usually small changes that make the whole thing. So I'm going to be posting every day with 20 or 30 minutes about Copilot University, about how we're helping people, about business owners, how we're making changes, how different consulting things we're doing, how new tips and tricks and tools. I'll also be kind of documenting our journey as a quote unquote startup. This is going to be a different kind of startup than, I'm not trying to take over the world with Copilot University, but I do think there's a lot of healthy growth to help businesses, to be a consultant, to create certifications in AI at some level. I don't know if those will catch on, but I do think it's going to be relevant to explain your experience and knowledge base when it comes to this new technology. And I don't think it's very hard to really get into if you just, like I said, make it part of your daily habit. It's not like you're programming your computer in your basement. It's programming it for you. It's more about being curious, I would say, than anything else about what it can do, because we're in the AOL phase. We're in the like, what is this? We're in the dial-up phase of like, what is this for? And the people that built those .coms in the early 2000s are the ones that are on a beach right now, and that could be us in 20 years, sitting, or probably with AI, it'd be like 5 years, sitting on a beach somewhere because we made that one thing that somebody needed for something, and it just kept growing, because no one really knew what it was for, what it was needing, who needed what right now, and we just needed to be curious. The other thing I'm doing right now is I'm joining a real startup. I have a business partner named Sean. We are building a property technology, prop tech company together. I've been working on that for probably 4 or 5 hours a day for the last 2 months. We're making really good progress. So what we're going to be doing is, I guess I'm a little fuzzy on how much I should get into because I don't want to attract too much competition, but we're effectively building a proprietary way to use AI to assess properties. I'll just say that. I think that what is going to happen, my prediction, is the more free, open source, easy to use all this AI becomes, the less valuable it becomes, right? Why would I pay for something today or for a year's worth of subscription if I know in a month something better, cheaper, free is going to exist and help me better? And maybe it's easier. And I think, especially in business world is like, we're going to take a year to assess if something is good enough for us, and then we're going to have another year's worth of meetings to decide if we should re-up the contract with these people. I don't think that's going to fly in AI land. The companies that are going to really, really grow and use this stuff are going to be the really tiny companies that like go all in on changing and being nimble to try new things and try new services and softwares as they exist today, rather than wait for them to be perfect. So, I mean, that's kind of where I sit, is like, I want to use, it's called LeaseLearn. I'm secretly hoping we change the name, but LeaseLearn is a way for me to build a startup from scratch, so I know what every other business owner is going through, and I can better help me be a consultant for these business owners, me and my kids, teach them about grit and determination and discipline in starting something from zero and having all of the odds stacked against you. And I hope we don't fail, but if we fail, we fail. But I'm going to fail working 5 hours a day, 7 days a week on this. And, and at the very least, I hope I'm teaching you that if you commit to something like that, the very worst thing that can happen to you is people really get value from you, and you have a skill now that you can take anywhere you want to go. I don't know too many failed startup founders that end up sitting on a couch because they can't find a job and no one cares and no one wants them. I feel like it's a way to show the world what you are capable of, and then the world wants to, invest in you or learn more about you or help you with the next thing. And so I think the hardest part is what I'm doing today is raising your hand and saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this out. I gotta stop saying that. I'm gonna do this, period. And no try, just do, like Yoda. And I'm gonna commit to this. And I'm going to trust that my mentors, my coaches, all the books I've read are right. That's the I guess the biggest thing that's been happening to me over the last 7 months is I've been reaching out, thinking about the world differently, thinking about life differently, and learning more about my heroes and other people's heroes. And I think the funniest or most ironic part about everything, and this will sound stupid, but it's been so transformative to me. I'm getting like goosebumps talking about this. Those people, get this, they are also human. I think I've gone through my entire life, 31 and a half years, pretending that those people are not human too, that those people are better, different, not the same as me. Those people are the exact same as me. But you know what they did instead? What they did differently, what they are doing differently every single day? They are making themselves uncomfortable. They are seeing a barrier, a problem, and they're running towards it and not shying away from it. Um, they started a podcast or a company and they didn't worry. They skipped the part where they go, oh God, people are going to watch this. Oh God, like this is going to change my life. Their life is change. Their life is growth. Every single day, every single moment, I was talking about this with my therapist, is their growth isn't measured by, it's measured by time. They are growing as fast as time will allow them to because they use every moment of their day to make themselves better. And I think that's easy to say, but I've been on that track for the last 6 months and I don't intend of getting off of it. I don't know where it's going to lead me, but I do feel like I'm exponentially growing as a person. I am using every moment of every day to improve myself. It sounds frustrating and exhausting, but I think it's more like learning that I've found the most important thing to focus on, and everything else is noise. So I have a true north. Okay, so this is my true north. And you determine your own, but this is my true north that I'm sticking to. I am going to work on all of my projects and fun stuff only in the times when my family doesn't need me, my kids don't need me, my wife doesn't need me. I will not modify my life in a tangible way that will prevent me from having amazing relationships with those three people. I will have to make tiny little micro modifications. I gotta go take a meeting here, a meeting there every once in a while. I will not be away from my kids when they want to spend time with me though. And that's not a sometimes, it's an every single day. Every single day I'm going to interact with, be present with, play with my kids as much as they want to be played with. And then the thing about that is when you're too available, they get bored. And when they're bored, I'm going to go sneak away and do this for a couple hours. And then they're going to want me again. And then I'm going to go back downstairs or go back in the room. And then we're going to play and wrestle and whatever. But that's kind of my true north is how can I achieve all of my dreams and goals, my wildest dreams and goals, while also working full time, doing my job to the best that they need me to do, while also being the best, perfect family man, husband, father that I can be. And if that sounds insane, it's because it is, and I'm setting myself up for failure by setting myself up for growth. I need to fail to grow, and you need to fail to grow. Everyone does. And the thing I've learned the most so far, though, in the last 7 months is I don't like failing. And when I put myself in a box like this, I will not fail. I'm finding new and creative ways to not fail. Like I'm finally putting myself into a box where like failure is possible, because I feel like so much of my life has been very vanilla and safe and, just keep a job, get a job, like go to college. Not that anything's wrong. Like those things were hard, but they weren't hard in the way that like doing a startup's hard or getting over major depression is hard. Like they weren't things that I had to invest 100% of myself into. And my goal is to do that. I think that's part of growth and being a leader and a mentor. And the person I want to follow, the person I want to be, does that. And you know what the thing is? The best people on earth, the people we all talk about or want to be like, do that every single day. They put their 100% energy, knowledge, brain into that every single day. Um, and then we wonder why they're great. We wonder why they can accomplish so much. Well, how do they get so much done? How do they figure out how to do this so fast? Well, they literally think of nothing else. If you read any biographies of any person that has a biography, most of their life was spent working on the thing that they're in the biography for. And it's not their like life as in like amount of years. It's like amount of minutes per day for years. It's the more I've stopped treating my life as um, a thing you spend, or like I've spent so many. I'd say I spent most of my 20s trying to find the way to do the least amount of work and get the most amount of benefit. And I'm really good at it. I can do that so well. And then at 32, when Luther was born, I kind of hit this point where I was like, this is too easy. This is not easy, but it's too comfortable. I'm not growing anymore. Growth for me in my 20s was, how do I stop being so frustrated about everything? How do I stop hating everything? How do I just enjoy, how do I just enjoy the average day? How do I make a good average day and be happy with that? And I've achieved that. I feel good about that. And I'm happy to talk more about that if that's helpful, or how I did that, if that's helpful to people. Because that's his own journey. That took me years of therapy and books and self-reflection and meditation and everything to get there. And it's not every day. I still have tough days too, where I feel like the world's ending and I'm really frustrated. But I would say, 25 out of 30 days, I was sitting around going, what's the next step? What's the next on the hierarchy of needs? What's the next thing I need to do? And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. I'm figuring that out. And the first step is to be uncomfortable again. And that's this. That's this podcast. That's these companies. That's putting my name and face and image out there when I don't want to be famous. I don't want attention. I want experience. I want like challenges. I want life things to push me, and I want to be pushed so I can help my kids better and with their dreams, and it's just I haven't found a way to do that and without having to put myself out there like this. And yeah, I guess in some ways this is like one of my like blind spots that I've always been afraid to attack, to go out there and raise my hand. I purposefully, for most of my life, I've had the same haircut my entire life. I can't really grow a beard, but I would never try to grow a beard. I wear very bland shirts, like purposefully to not get noticed by anybody. I didn't ever want attention. I still really don't. I want to help people, I think that's the hard part, is the more marketing and sales and everything books I read, the hard part is they ask you to be somebody else. And I'm sure as this year progresses, you're going to see and hear me be more of a, they call it an attractive character, a person that people want to be mentored by. And I'm going to struggle with that because I want to help people, and I don't want to be this fake person to do so. That's going to be hard for me. But if that's what the student needs to listen, because I'm learning that too, that if you charge them nothing, they don't listen. And that's hard, because you want to help people and you don't want to take their money, but I think you need to, honestly. The sad part is for them to listen. So that's it, there's going to be some psychology in this. There's going to be some better habits. There's going to be some, how do we grow and make our lives better and make our family stronger in this? But I'm gonna really try to stick to AI and try to help people how they need to be helped with AI tools. And I think there's gonna be a couple different avenues. Like I'm gonna be posting on YouTube and different social medias to keep everything straight, and I'm sure those will be more concise and specific to but this will be, I guess, the time where I get to ramble and pretend I am wise and pretend I know what I'm doing. But I really credit, who I credit the most of all this is Sean, my new business partner. Sean is a long-term thinker, and he plays long-term games with long-term people. And I need more people in my life like that. I feel like I've been running from thing to thing. How do I make my life better? What do I spend my time on? For a lot of it, I feel like I've done it all. I've tried to starting my own company like 10 different times. I've made my own apps. I've made my own websites. I've read every book I could find about everything. I got into uh, trading stocks, into crypto, into I feel like I can talk about this for hours about all the stuff that I wasted my time on, flipping houses, real estate in general. Yeah, no, it's drop shipping, investing in tax liens. Oh my God. I have a whole bookshelf of books that I've read that I will never use that knowledge, because I moved on to the next thing before I was good enough at it to use it, and I'm part of my growth is to stop doing that, is to pick one thing and to do it for an entire year and see where it goes, rather than spend the thing I don't want to do is to wake up and be 40 years old and to feel like I spent my 30s wondering what I should be spending my 30s on, and this is what I'm going to spend my 30s on: growth, uncomfortability, and companies, and reaching my goals and reaching new parts of my life in ways that I've never thought I could, because I've had anxiety my whole life. I've had some spouts of depression. I think I have a version of dyslexia. I think I've had all these things that I thought were my fault. This is the imposter syndrome piece of it. That's part of this too. I'm trying to overcome imposter syndrome in a lot of different parts of my life, and part of this is to stop putting me in the middle of it, as the victim or the survivor of any of it, is to say that it's not about me. I there's this really cool Kobe Bryant quote, where he it was like his rookie year, I believe, and he just missed like 3 or 4 air balls to lose in the playoffs in Game 7. I think it was only round 1 or round 2 or something, but he was the rookie, he was the star. Everyone thought he was going places, and then it's Game 7, and he throws 4 air balls. I think 2 or 3 in regular time, and then 1 or 2 in overtime, and the media just trashes him. And I was too young to really remember this or know about this. The media just destroys him. He's not clutch. He can't do anything. And obviously we all laugh at that now, but side note, the thing that's funny is when you hear about a story, you only hear about it after it already happened, after it already is resolved. You don't hear or know about the stories that are happening in real time where people are actually failing. I've heard so many stories and read so many books with stories in them where the person who got the book written about them because they solved a problem or did something cool or nice, the book says, and then they spent years doing that. And they skip the part where for years, for days, for minutes, for days and days and days, they sat there knowing the world thinks that they're wrong, and they just shrugged and said, "I no, I'm right. I'm good with that." And that's my goal this year. I don't think I've made it past 10 days of that. I'm going to do a year. I don't think I've made it past 10 days of I know I'm right and the world's wrong about anything. Because it's hard. It's hard because you get they get in your head that and so anyways, the Kobe quote is he could have easily taken. I mean, he's already a highly touted rookie. He's doing amazing things. They made the playoffs. Like he's already like moving the team forward, and he's like building his career up. And as a rookie too, though, I'm sure he has tons of anxiety and like he's scared. Like he's all this hype. Is he good enough? Like he's right out of college. Like as an 18-year-old, I was a disaster of a person. Like who am I? What do I want to be? I don't think it took me. I think I was like 27 before I like even felt comfortable like in my own body enough to like not like have to like I don't know put somebody else in the middle of it. I'm gonna finish this stupid Kobe story. Okay, so Kobe, they're interviewing him after this, and of course they're interviewing him in hindsight, right, when he's after won all these championships and everything, and they're asking about what he did back then when that happened. And of course, like the perfect mentor and role model he is, he says this. He says, well, the first thing you say is get over yourself. When he missed 4 air balls, he could have said, I suck. I'm not good enough. Imposter syndrome. I shouldn't have been here. I shouldn't have been drafted this high. I am not going to lead a team. I don't have leader qualities. I don't have clutch qualities. Literally 1,000 things. And it's always what your brain already assumes is what you take the world's like nudges. When the world nudges you in a certain way, you hear exactly what your brain was telling you already. That's the only thing you know or feel, or like whatever you're like, whatever's already in your head, just like they just turn the volume way up on what what you already fear when you get any feedback. And so he says, I could literally have taken all that feedback and sat around and just quit. But he says, get over yourself. Stop putting yourself in the middle of this. And what did he do? He just watched the film. And that's what I need to do, is just watch the film of my life. And he watches the film and he said, okay, let's not pretend I'm Kobe. Let's pretend I'm a human. I'm a human who is 18 years old, and I've only played 32 games per year my entire high school career. And we just played 82 games and playoffs, and they put me out there for pretty much every single game, majority of the game. And those 4 air balls were dead on. I wasn't missing in accuracy. They were dead on, but they were short. So, does Kobe suck? Does Kobe not hit clutch shots? Does he need to try harder? Does he need to sleep more? He goes, okay, well, if you think of this as a human problem, anybody's problem, what does he need to do? He just needs to train more. He says, I need to build my body to be able to play the playoffs when the playoffs came. I needed to play 82 games. I needed to like build up my fitness routine to be ready for this. And I've taken that quote into so many pieces of my life, and I feel like it just overwhelms me with like it just takes my imposter syndrome and just shoves them in the closet and like says like, okay, yeah, we'll get to you when we get to you. But it's like, what is in my brain that there isn't much that is true when it comes down to it. If I take Brian out of it and I put a human into it, pretty much anything I'm thinking about or worried about or feeling is total crap. It's not true. It's excessively uh, uh, terrible and mean and aggressive. And so when I apply that to my life, which I have been, and it's been, like I said, it's been helping me in so many different parts. It's, I'm going to make these podcasts and videos in companies, and they're probably going to suck. You want to know why? Because I have no experience doing it. Why would they be good? They, how could they be good? I don't even know how to do them. You know, it doesn't make any sense for me to evaluate myself on the same platform as people who literally have done this for 10 years is a joke. No human would ever do that. I would never compare myself to Kobe and say I should be as good at basketball as him if I try once, or if I tried for a month, or if I tried for a year. You know, it doesn't make any sense. I need to think of this mathematically. You know, that's another Kobe quote is like, if you think about this mathematically, is how many hours did they spend getting there, doing that thing? Spend 10% of the amount of hours they spent. 10 actual like percent actually. You know, if they spent 10 years, spend an actual year and see where you get before you spend 3 weeks like I've normally done my whole life and quit. You know, um, I really think that is the key to everything. And that's what I want to teach my kids. That's full circle of what I'm doing here is that I need to have the right comparison when I'm comparing myself to other people, because first of all, it's always wrong and it's always worse than life actually is. It's always saying I'm really terrible and everyone hates me, and everything is my fault, and I never get better at anything. But when I actually write down, which I have been writing down what I do well at or what I've accomplished, I think you should do this too. It's really helped me. Is in your phone, well, on a note, whatever, write down what you've accomplished. Write down everything you thought you would never have accomplished. That you remember all those times when you were stuck and like laying on the couch going, oh my God, I'll never get over this. And don't pretend like you've had, like, we only remember 3 weeks ago. That's the thing. We only remember 3 weeks ago. Think about actually. Remember yourself actually when you were 16, 17, whatever. Pick an age where you were struggling. And remember what a day was like for that person. Okay? Like an actual day where you were sitting there like, what am I doing? This is the worst. How could I ever get better at this? And then write that down. Write that thing down. I have a whole list of them, of things that I thought I would never, ever, ever get out of. I literally thought I would never graduate college. I was so bad at it. I, I, I almost failed out my first semester. I couldn't do it. And then what happened? I showed up the second semester. I got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And, you figure it out. But the thing that cripples people is when they don't start the second semester. They just kind of just go, that wasn't for me. And they move on. We are incredibly adaptive creatures. And literally, especially now in the age of AI, we literally are going to be evaluated by our amount of ability to evolve and be adaptive, like we always have been as humans. Like the most adaptive people survive in evolution, in capitalism, in everything. And this, I feel like AI is going to just double that down and accelerate that like creativity and how to use technology in new creative ways is going to be one of the most valuable and only skills left, because everything else can be done by a computer better than us. It can only interacting with computers in a creative way is going to be a skill that people value, because that's going to be the only thing that another computer can't do, which is crazy to think. But so I apologize, this has been all over the place. I know I talked about probably 30 different things I wasn't planning on, but I think that's part of this process. I think I'm going to trust myself that that's this is the right thing to do rather than assume it's the wrong thing and that I'm stupid and wrong for doing it. I'm going to trust myself. So thank you. I'm going to get back to my job, all of my jobs. I'm really going to commit to this. And if I don't, you all get to watch me fail. But what I'm hoping is going to happen, this is my dream, is that there's going to be a lot. I don't want to put a number on it. A lot of Brians that follow this story along and get something out of it, like I'm good enough. I'm okay. I can do this, you know? I just need to put myself in those shoes. I need to actually commit to it, and I need to pretend I am one of the great people on earth. And I feel like once you do that, you kind of open your brain up to saying, if I'm a great person, meaning I'm a billionaire, or I'm a really influential person, I'm on the cover of magazines or wherever. Assuming I am that person, what does a person like that do every day? What do they eat for breakfast? What do they spend their time on? What problems do they have? What problems do they not care about? And what things do you call problems that they would not call a problem? Because it's usually the problems that you're making up for yourself that are stopping you from being great, more than their actual problems. I think most of our problems are created by our brain and then reminded to us all day that is the only thing that is stopping us, and there's no way around it, and it's infinite. So what I'm hoping happens is a year, 2 years, whatever, that this reaches you, whatever that is, whoever that is, and you can listen to this or watch this and say, wow, okay, that's how he started. Really? That's awful. I could do that. That's just a dude. Like, he's just a dude. He's just a guy. What is so great about him? Nothing. The thing that's so great about me is that I'm going to pretend to be great for a while and hope it works, I guess. But I'm going to do that by acting as though I'm a great person, by spending every waking moment doing great things. And I think my theory is that is what causes people to become great, is they spend every waking moment trying to be great rather than wishing they were, So I'm hoping this starts as I know it's crappy, but I actually put some effort into it too. That's the hard part. You want to look good, but I'm hoping that in a year or 2 years or whatever amount of years, because I'm not planning on quitting, people are going to point to me and say he's great. Not that I want to be famous, like I said, but you can all go back and watch this journey and listen to these podcasts every day for a year. Oh God, my YouTube ended. And that's embarrassing. You can realize that I'm you. We're all humans. We're all sitting around with problems, and there's no such thing as great. There's such thing as focus, and grit. That's what I started with. Grit and focus. And if that's it, if that's all you spend every second of your day on every day for a year, then you'll achieve whatever I'm about to achieve. And I guess we'll find out if that experiment means nothing or it means good things, you know? But that's where I'm going to start. And I'm going to really, really, really try to turn off the part of my brain that thinks this is like, that doesn't understand this. Because every one of my mentors, every one of my leaders is telling me to do this. And for the first time in my life, I'm not going to think I know more than them. I'm going to listen to them to the letter. Because I think I've spent so many years of my life listening to somebody, reading a book, and then going, are they right? Are they? Do they know? Do they know me? Do they know my problems? Do they listen? Do they understand? Like, will it really work? None of that. You see a great person, ask them why they're great. Do it exactly what they say. Do exactly what they say. There's a Steve Martin quote that blew my mind a couple months ago. It was like, people keep asking me how to get famous and how to, become a great comedian and everything. And he said, I literally don't tell you. I will tell you the answer, and you will not listen to me. And they go, no, I promise I'll listen to you. And the answer is, be so good, they have to watch. They have to notice you. Be that good. And it's always the simplest things that we want a secret. We want a trick, And the trick is try. And then the secret is keep trying. Don't quit. Suck, and I'm really I'm gonna end this finally after telling you I was gonna end this 5 times. I'm gonna end this with, watch me suck, please. Watch me suck, because I'm willing to bet that I'm going to not suck soon as I keep trying, and eventually somebody's going to say, Brian, you're great, I want you to teach me stuff. And I'm going to say, okay, fine. But we're all here right now today with the same starting point. I can't tell you how many people need my help with computer stuff. And my joke, it's not really a joke, it's kind of a mean thing to say, is, why do you need my help? You've had a computer the same amount of time as I have. And no one finds that funny. And that's what it is. That's what it comes down to, is what's the difference between us? Is I tried to learn. I raised my hand. I said, let's do it. And that's what I'm going to do again for as long as it takes. I got to stop saying a year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start, and I hope you hear how uncomfortable this is and how this is not me. This is not fun. This is not, becoming great is not fun. It's an obsession, and yeah, and that's my goal. That's what I'm going to do. So thank you so much. I bet no one will ever listen to this, but maybe my kids one day, when they turn me into an AI robot and that they can chat with, so they don't miss me as much. But thank you. It's taken me 2 weeks to do this. I've been so scared. I've had the stupid green screen and microphone and camera and lights and everything set up for probably a month. And especially the last 2 weeks, just totally, there's no reason other than just fear of everything. It's failing, it's trying, it's raising your hand, it's thinking you know something, it's being uncomfortable, but I did it. Thank you. And I'm sure we'll talk tomorrow, because I'm doing it. So watch me become great slowly. See ya.